the Marlene Saunders Show, where we have real talk, real conversations, and you're welcome to it. If it's your first time here, feel free to subscribe to the channel and to turn on all of your notifications. How was everybody's weekend? We are here for another podcast that we do every week, 30 minutes or less. So let's get into today's podcast conversation. Today we're going to be talking about um, the real life. Like, kids really need education, and I'm not just talking about what you read in a book. I'm talking about kids need real life education from their parents, siblings, whoever, those who have experienced life, because so many kids have this idea of this, that life is like social media, and life is like how it is in the movies. There has to be more education on this is what real life looks like. It's bills, it's problems, it's responsibilities. There's going to be challenges. You're not just going to, and especially when it comes to relationships, that there's going to be some issues. There's going to be problems. And I really believe that most children are not prepared. Hey, real odds and events, how are you doing? And I really believe that kids these days are not prepared when they become an adult for the real life. They just are going through life feeling like they are owed something. And oh, yeah, my mom or my dad or whoever will give it to me. And I don't really need to apply myself, because some kids are rotten. When I say rotten, I mean completely rotten, because parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whoever is not teaching them to be responsible and to clean up after themselves and to have real life skills and know how to communicate, because the parents or whoever is keeping them on tablets and phones, they're allowing the tablets and phones to replace human interaction. They're not allowing the children to stimulate their mind by playing and talking and reading and being with other children of their same age. So that's why I believe that kids need a real life education, and not just thinking that life is just TV and the computer, social media. Kids are consumed with social media. And don't get me wrong, because I grew up in I'm a Gen X, and we didn't have social media until I got to be probably maybe like 8 or 9 years old. Before social media, not social media, I mean computers, the internet really started. So I got a little bit of a break, but because of our experiences of really knowing what a real childhood looks like, going outside and playing sports, and reading and using your imagination, and even talking to your children, that is a very important thing. I seen a family one day, and they were all out to eat, and none of them were communicating with each other. And I was thinking to myself, if this is how they are behaving at home, I mean, outside, this is exactly how it is in their home environment. We cannot expect our children to function in school, in life, and out as an adult if we are not preparing them, giving them the skills, if they're not seeing their parents, grandparents, friends, whoever, having conversations, spending time together. And I think that it is so sad and tragic that this is a day-to-day occurrence for so many children. They don't know about the real life education, talking to one another, even showing affection. I see that so many children now, it's everything that they want to say. It's like they're mimes. They can't open up and communicate. They have become antisocial because it's one thing to have that sort of personality where you kind of rather be reserved and be in your own space. And there's nothing wrong with that part. But still, you have to teach children that there is a time to speak up and there's a time to be quiet and don't let people walk over you. They need to learn those skills of communication and not just feeling that they have to settle. Of course, when it comes to a job or school or other things, you would teach your children to communicate with respect. And so many children do not know about respect, self respect, and also how to respect other people. They are living in a fairy tale world, believing that everything goes perfect because they watch too many reels and shorts, and they just want everything to happen instantly. They want instant gratification. My life, it has to be like this, and I want it, and somebody better give it to me. What about learning how to work hard, save money, wait, be patient? Things can't just drop into your lap. Real Odds and Even says, yes, I've seen that exactly. Hey, Realist, how are you doing? I have seen this more times than I can't even wrap my mind around working in social work, the things that I have seen. And you can blame children to a certain point because, yes, they do have their own personality, but also at the same time, more parents or guardians need to teach children discipline, communication, and boundaries, and not allowing your children to be in adult conversation, being in your business and thinking that everything is funny. One day that laughter, that kiki, oh, it's so funny, oh, they're so cute, until one day they bring harm to you or to others, or they find themselves in a situation because they don't know how to keep their mouth closed. They don't know how to control their anger. And it's not that they are always right. Today's society of kids need to understand that it's not all about them. They need to learn to display kindness and compassion, respect for other people, respecting other people's opinions, that you don't always have to be right and we can agree to disagree. I think that's a very important space to allow your children to understand that part. Not just children, but even your own relatives. We need to teach children the real life. And that's why I said real life education versus vanity. Today's children just consumed with themselves, like it's all about me. Very selfish, very demanding, controlling. I am so afraid for today's youth. What is going to happen when they get that reality that it's not going to be mom or dad, auntie, cousin, this person or that person taking care of them? Go and get a job, work, save some money, learn some worth ethics, be clean, take care of yourself. It's so wild to me how children today have the expectations that they demand, they deserve all of these things, and not just deserving these things. They want the best, the most expensive, and they don't care how other people get it. They're willing to do whatever, sell their soul, steal, cheat. It doesn't matter. I want it and I'm going to get it. And what that does is having a society of younger people that are very impatient. They're not learning how to take care of themselves. They're not learning how to basic skills as a growing adult. Taking care of yourself, being clean, neat, organized, teaching children time management, patience, being respectful, learning how to communicate, that it's not just about instant gratification. So, this week we are going to be focusing on more and more of uh, that aspect of communication, and not just thinking about ourselves. Like I said, this week we're going to be focusing on looks and outer beauty and what makes people ugly. And I have to tell you all, it doesn't matter how cute your kid can be, whether a boy or a girl, it is not cute when you're disrespectful. It's not cute when you end up behind bars because of trying to get fast money, being disrespectful, putting your hands on other people. But it all goes back to whoever is raising them. Are you disciplining them? Are you communicating with them and showing them the reality of life, that you need to listen, be patient, and do what you're supposed to do? Do as you are told, for the most part. Now, I'm not saying to do something that is going to be abusive or things like that, but I mean, when the older ones, like your teachers or authority figures, there is zero respect, because those children are seeing that in their home environment. They're seeing their mother or their father having zero respect for the opposite sex, having zero respect for trying to work. They just, I'll live off the system, no big deal. And that really is something that I just don't know what's going to happen to those that are younger. I just always say to myself, I hope that I am not around to have to sit and wait on this newer generation to take care of me. It's always been my thought and my prayer that I hope that I am not around to have to wait on the younger generation to take care of me. I'm just being honest. You know, I give real talk and real conversations over here. I just keep it real all the time. Thanks for tuning in to the Marlene Saunders Show, where we have real talk, real conversations, and you're welcome to it. Tomorrow we'll be tapping in with another real talk conversation. I'll see you guys back tomorrow. Shout out to the mods. Shout out to all of the new subscribers. If you're new here and you enjoyed this commentary, feel free to subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. And I most definitely will tap in on the next one.